Habari Ghani, who's going next? Let's go.
This is Deborah. I'm going to finish or restart reading again The Flight Edge by Jeff Olson. I'm telling you, it'll change your life.
Woohoo! I like that. I'm looking forward to hearing some of these praise reports as we go through this year, because y'all know I'm going to circle back. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to literally go back and ask you, at the end of the first quarter, where we at? Where we at on that reading goal? All right, Habari Ghani, one more. Who's going next?
I was going to chime in, but I was afraid after you said you're going to start following up. So only one goes to me, Trisha. Trisha's been giving you a couple. Trisha did write those down, girl. She's going to be asking you.
I promise you.
It's funny, I have that. That's so funny. My book is a John C. Maxwell book. It just came out this year, The Ultimate Guide to Developing Leaders.
Yes, The Ultimate Guide to Developing Leaders. I hope y'all know I got my legal pad out. So I'm just saying. George just pre-warned y'all. I will follow up. I love it. I absolutely love this. I love this. Anyone else? Final call. Habari Ghani, who's going next?
Relentless, Tim Grover.
Yes. I ain't there yet, Jackie. So I'm going to live vicariously through you. That'll probably make my 2025. I love it. Maria, I think I saw you on mic, sis. Habari Ghani, who's going next?
The Map of the Consciousness Explained by Dr. David Hawkins. I can't wait to get through that.
Whoop-de-whoop. And listen, y'all, so we have a champion that actually, whose segment is next, that I am definitely, what my educational news is, Designing Genius by Amelia Antonetti and Patricia Wooster. I started it, but I'm going to finish it this specific year coming up in 2024. Y'all, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like I'm already in 2024. You feel me? Like I'm not waiting for the new year. Like I'm on it. I'm in it right now. My mind's eye is right there. My grandma used to have this thing. She used to say, baby, you got to be that thing before you be that thing. So I'm already in 2024. I'm not waiting on Chronos. And actually your new year starts with your birthday. So my year actually started in October 12th. Listen, 2023, that's when 2024, this is when I started my new year. So listen, I just wanted to make sure that me and Trisha just came to you. Do you see how we have some book goals? Trisha and I have some book goals. Trisha is a part of my advisory board for Books in the Hood. And we really, truly want to spread the joy of having our lives changed by books with kids, because that's how that journey started with me. And tomorrow's day in principle is self-determination. What better way to help kids during the week of Kwanzaa to be self-determined and promote self-determination and elevation is by gifting them books. So those of you who have not tapped in, we're asking you to tap that link. Those of you who have not tapped in, I'm asking for 8 copies of Think and Grow Rich. I am asking for copies of The Science of Getting Rich. I am asking for financial oriented books. See, I don't want to show up to Christina's book event empty-handed. I want to have some intentional and meaningful books. I'm showing up with Dancing with Vampires. I want to show up with some more copies of Amelia's book. I want to show up with meaningful copies of different books. We got some Adora's books already, and I want to show up with even more copies of that. We want to tap in and put more books throughout the hood so that we can help young people be more self-determining. We want to unite around some books. So, Trisha, I'm certain that there are some books that you have that we can unite around, some books that have truly blessed your life, because I feel like if we can start diving into some concepts and things that have come out of some books that we read, we can really truly help people and transform our life. And we definitely gonna have some health tips for you before we get up out of here. So Trisha, over to you, sis.
Oh my God, I am so excited about bringing books to children, bringing books to young adults. There's a book called Imperfect by Brene Brown. I think that's a book that could impact kids, to let them know that you can show up imperfect, but just show up. And I think kids need to know that they don't have to be perfect, but they can show up. And just giving kids books to read, kids are expected to be able to get on the internet. Well, you know what? Some kids can't afford to get on the internet. Some kids don't have the opportunity to do that. And to have a book in hand is to have knowledge in their hands, to be able to read, to be able to write. Health and I were talking about this past weekend, just on Christmas Eve, have kids that have coloring books to be able to unite and have an activity together, to be able to read a couple of lines in a coloring book and talk and have fun together. That's given literacy to kids, to be able to share together and do things together. They feel like they have something together to unite. And I think that if we could just bring kids a couple of books to be able to share together at Christina's event, have some financial literacy, that gives power to children, power to young adults, power to the people that need it the most right now. So, that's unity. We're talking about Umoja, having unity. Oh my God, Health Wells, that is amazing. I just think that if everybody could tap in, even give one book, that would be so amazing, because you'd be showing up to Christina's event and giving unity, giving power, giving such financial literacy to those young adults. Christina would be thrilled, and so would we, just to be able to say that we shared that from so many people here in this room and so many people that you could ask to tap in. So thank you, Health. You're amazing. You just bring such, excitement around this stuff. And I was so thrilled when you asked me to be a part of this. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
My pleasure. Anyone that has a book that we can unite around, a book that you've read, a book maybe that you've written, a book that is powerful, that has transformed your life, that may be beneficial to young people. See, Think and Grow Rich changed my life. The Science of Getting Rich changed my life. And the book I'm currently reading that I talked to you guys about, which is a millionth book, listen, Designing Genius. Imagine having that in the hands of teenagers and college students who could actually start with that consciousness of designing the life that they actually want to live right now. So I want to know, what are some books that we can unite around? What are some books that have blessed you in your life? Come on, let's keep this conversation going. I know I got some readers in the room. Who wants to tap in next?
I'll go again. One of the books I've read over and over again and just really transformed my life is The Top 10 Distinctions Between Millionaires and the Middle Class by Keith Cameron Smith. I love that book. I encourage it. It's a short read, and I think even teenagers could get that book and really, get into it, even though they're not maybe on that level. It will kind of guide them and help them to think differently. The way they look at money, the way they look at life, the way they think, just all of that. That is an amazing book for anyone to read. Back to you.
Oh, I thank you for that, Jackie. Can you put that in the chat? Because that's something I'm going to put in the order list. And those of you who send us monetary donations, thank you. I deeply appreciate it. I really, really appreciate y'all helping me get some more coloring books and crayons and snacks and water, as well as additional reading books. So, I am super excited. Our event is tomorrow, and we're also going to do a small distribution in Myrtle Beach, and I'm excited about that. I am so excited that we can give the gift of reading, because I told y'all, listen, I didn't grow up on the sunny side of Miami. I grew up in poverty, and books were my escape. So I want to continue to pay this forward. I know the power of coming in contact with the right book. So my family was dirt poor. So there was no books like that in our household. It was a difference between food and shelter and a book. So my first book came from someone else. And so I'm asking you to partner with me to be that blessing for someone else, to be able to give that gift of a first book. And if you think that there aren't those who've actually tapped in, I don't think Trina is in the room, but those who've been local to the area and has actually shown up and got to see the type of families, and from all backgrounds. We have Haitian families that show up. We have Hispanic families that show up. We have white families that show up. Listen, we are tapping in and touching all different walks of life, of people who actually just want to be able to have, a book. We have senior citizens that actually show up because where we set up, there's a senior citizens complex that's right there and they tap in. And here's the thing, there are kids that show up who got nothing for Christmas, but to see that they got what in Kwanzaa, we call it Zawadi. That's what the gifts are called. But that coloring book makes a difference because we actually wrap them and they're allowed to take them. I don't know about you guys, but I used to long and dream of being able to get like a name brand character, like coloring book, like Wonder Woman or something like that, because we couldn't afford it. So I know how special and that look that when some of them unwrap it, they're looking like, oh my God, I got SpongeBob SquarePants. Oh my God, I got the Lion King. They're getting books that they know ordinarily they wouldn't have access to because they just can't afford it. I don't sit here and waste time talking about the parents, what they should have, could have, would have. I only care about meeting the need. And right now, that's what we're doing. We're meeting the need. But I want to pivot in the conversation and talk to you guys about the news within your body. What's the health news? Are you meeting the needs of your body? Are you doing your health fundamentals? Are you on track to being a centenarian? Or are you being stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck? See, here's one thing that I do know that centenarians all have in common: hydration and walking and meditation. They get that sleep thing right. Sleep is a form of meditation. So now is the time for you to unite within your body. All of your body systems depend upon you resting properly. All of your body systems depend upon you hydrating properly. All of your body systems actually depend on you walking. Do you realize that your brain has its own cleaning system? Your lymphatic system, just like we have a lymphatic system for the rest of our body, the brain needs time to actually wash itself. And when we're doing high intensity exercises and all these other things, it spikes cortisol. So your brain doesn't have the opportunity to actually clean itself as it does when we're walking. Walking is a form of what we call in sports medicine active relaxation. You got to take my word for it. You can check out Dr. Mark Hyman. He's done a whole series on this. And if you want to look at some journals, check out the Sports Medicine Journal, the British Sports Medicine Journal. They have lots of published papers about the science behind walking and what actually happens. So our brain gets a chance to clean up itself. But here's another thing, tapping into the segment that we did on Saturday, is you could stop getting flued out by big pharma and big sugar because your immune cells, you can build and create more immune cells by a short 20-minute walk. Listen, this is about your longevity. What's the health news? Are you uniting within your body? I just named you at least 3 systems. I haven't even gotten to your heart. We are so worried about brushing our teeth, but what do you think about brushing your heart? Do you think about doing things that intentionally clears plaque out of your arteries? Are you more committed to brushing your teeth and cleaning your mouth than you are cleaning the very thing that your life source is dependent upon? Listen, your heart stopped, you stopped. Point blank, period. See, a lot of you guys, you think your weight makes you safe. That's 20% of your health equation. So I ask you, Habari Ghani, what's your health news? What are you going to do differently? See, the problem is not a New Year's resolution. The time frame is the problem. What is your new health day resolution? That's what it is. You should be setting a day's resolution. 1-day resolutions work. We're resolved to do this thing. That's why I love that Dora asked you, what is your intention this year? So what is one thing that you can get done today in your health? What is one thing that you can get done educationally today? What can you read today? What can you do for your health today? What is that 1-day resolution? What's that one thing that you're resolved to do today? And maybe it's 3 things. I call those my big 3, the longevity big 3: walk, hydrate, meditate. Those are those fundamentals. Fundamentals matter. There are health fundamentals. It's not enough. Do you know how many skinny people got hypertension? Do you know how many normal weight people got type 2 diabetes and pre-diabetes? Do you know how many bodybuilders I've seen that just drop dead prematurely? This ain't no joke. Big pharma is not playing. Big sugar is not playing. And I ain't hating on them. I just want you to be empowered. I just want you to understand it's time to unite within your body. It's time for you to educate yourself. It is time for you to do what you were put here to do. We're blessed in the city. We're blessed in the country. We're blessed in our going in. We're blessed in our going out. You have a mission. You had a 1 in 400 trillion chance and you finna tap out halfway? How you figure? Listen, God said we have an opportunity to live 120 years. Why are you stopping halfway? 60 is only halfway. You're not grown till you're 80. Let's go. We can do this. You made that journey. You realize you winning the life lottery, you had a better chance of winning the actual lottery we got in the US versus being a live human birth. And if you're a male, it was even tougher. Do you know how high the infant mortality rate is, especially amongst male children? You are a walking miracle. You here on purpose. You won your most important race. Let's get something out of it. There is something that's within you that all of us need. Tap into those gifts. It's time for us to be who we're supposed to be. My word this year is prevail. We're prevailing in our health. We are prevailing in our finances. We're prevailing, listen, in our family. We're prevailing in our recreation. We're prevailing in our sleep. We're prevailing in the meditation. Dead the excuses. Listen, I got a 4-year-old granddaughter who's a toddler. Listen, I promise you, she don't feel like going to sleep. Are you like that toddler, like that I have over here, that doesn't want to go to sleep? Take your butt to sleep. Listen, my favorite book says there comes a time, their night will come when no man can work. Do you respect night? There's a work that has to be done within your body. There's a repair that has to be done within your body. Are you allowing your body to take advantage of the sleep meditation? Are you taking advantage of the nitric oxide that you can get for free by deep breathing meditations? I'm just saying, are we really tapping in? What's the health news? Who wants to pop in next?
Health. Yeah. In the words of Don Sankey, what I heard was, one of the things that I heard, because I heard a whole lot, is forget the resolution and begin a revolution. Back to you, Health.
Woo! Oh, that's fire right there, brother. I love what you just said. Who's tapping in next? Go for it. I thought I heard a lady.
Again, it's Trisha. It's Trisha. I just wanted to say that, we have to take responsibility for where we're at. We have to help our children. This year they did a community assessment in my area, and one of the grants that they had to write was a grant to help children with diabetes. They had to help children with being overweight. When they have to write a community grant to help children with obesity, we have a problem. We have a problem with our children. We have a problem with our children with health and wellness. There's a book out there that's called Eat Well and Feel Great, The Teenager's Guide to Nutrition and Health by Tina Loud Goff. We need to help our children. We need to make sure that our children are getting healthy. You're talking about mortality rates of children. My God, what is the issue here? And then we talked about, I mentioned this morning about Eric Thomas, UOU. Eric Thomas talks about, his mom was a single mom at 17. His dad didn't show up. And he could have, taken that narrative. He could have just cried, all about those issues. But instead, he talks about taking responsibility. We could teach our children that, they can take on the narrative of their life. They can take on responsibility, and we can teach them all the things about health, wellness, financial literacy, and they can take on a new narrative for themselves. They can rewrite their stories if we just give them the health and the wellness and the financial literacy, and they can change their lives. They can rewrite their story, and they can be everything that they want to be if we just hand them the tools. And part of that is books. Part of that is letting them read stories, important things. So back to you, Hal.
Y'all, I agree with you, Trisha, and I hope you put the name of that book inside of the chat for us. But here's the thing, like, you guys, this is not a joke for me. See, I work in the school systems. When you see children dropping dead, when you're looking, I'm looking and seeing what is actually happening on the health side. We had a young man that literally broke his hip. A 13-year-old boy that broke his hip. That's insane. And he was doing nothing like strenuous or heavy, just some light pats of the ball playing soccer. Like, there's a problem. We had an 18-year-old that died of diabetes. Type 2. which is reversible and even preventable. This is not a joke. We're losing our kids. So I can't sit quiet. I can't keep acting as if we don't have a problem here in America. And when I do get to make it internationally, here's my first stop that I'm going. I'm going to Ireland because they're, as far as adolescents, they're just as bad as us. It was alarming with what I've seen. One of my direct supervisors was talking to me about, that's what he did his dissertation on, was what was going on in Ireland with childhood obesity and the health crisis there and the school health programs there, how they're failing the kids, and how we're failing here in the United States. We're failing our children. Not on my watch. We can get books like Food, What the Heck Should I Eat by Dr. Mark Hyman. I hope somebody will put that in the chat. We can also tap into another book called Eat Smarter by Shawn Stevenson. Listen, there are tools that are out there. If you got a problem with sleep, guess what? There's a book called Sleep Smarter. You can fix the sleep hygiene. There's an answer. There's an answer out there. There are books that have been written by people who are well-founded and well-researched and very practical, that have tools that you can use. Get the excuses. You are not a toddler. It's time for you to grow up in your health. It's time for you to unite in your health. Somebody else was trying to pop in. Go for it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Somebody, whoever that was, and then I'll be next. Go ahead.
Hey, honey. So, I think one of the things also that we're not really addressing is the fact that fresh fruits and vegetables are not readily available in the underserved communities the way it is in others. And the reason I say this is when I go to Whole Foods, their produce section is phenomenal. There are so many selections of fruits and vegetables that we can eat and wholesome grains. But then you get to the communities that are underserved, that are overpopulated and underserved, and what you see when you walk into that supermarket is not a produce section. You see the cereals and the candies, and you see the cake, pies, and the ice creams and things like that. So it's not just a matter of the fact that we're failing our children. It's a matter of whether or not these health choices are available in those communities as well, so that the children can have those kinds of nutritious meals. Another thing is, if they are in those communities.
I'm coming to my last minute, Linnell. I'm so sorry. And I want to make sure I end on time. Man, this is so good. This is such a good, juicy conversation. And wanted to make sure Dr. Tangi had a chance and me and Trisha could close out. So thank you so very much.
I'm loving this conversation and the excitement behind it. And when I'm going to be really quick here with the children, because I raised my son on eating extremely healthy. He's now 14 years old. And I do find in his room Skittle wrappers and different things that he is learning, at school. So we as parents, we have to do what we can. He knows that I won't have it here in the house, and he knows I will never stop at a Popeyes to get something to eat ever. He may do that at his dad's house, but never at my house. So we have to regulate what we can do, because they're not going to pick up the book. These kids are not going to be reading, right? Well, we want them to, right? But we as parents have to be the leaders, the guides, and then we need to get into these schools and monitor what is being served in the lunchroom. Back to you, Helen.
Oh, thank you so much. What a great way for us to close out this segment. You guys, this is a problem not only just in impoverished communities. I'm in an affluent school right now, and it's the same issues. It's the same type of junk and stuff that I'm seeing when I was in the impoverished neighborhoods. So you guys, this is a problem that we have that's pervasive, crossing all economic barriers as well, even when we have access. Trisha, did you want to say a closing word? Because we got to turn this over to Amelia.
Just putting a plea in, please, to donate to Books in the Hood. You can click on the link, please, for Health's book. If you don't have a book to donate, please donate a monetary donation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And with that, my favorite, all-time favorite Clubhouse human is in the building, Miss Amelia Antonetti, whose book I am asking you guys to donate some copies to Books in the Hood. Partner with us, support this phenomenal human who's helped me and my family prevail. I thank you so much. Amelia, how are you this morning? Beautiful.
Good morning, beautiful sister. How are you? What a great segment. And I love that you talked about your one word, yippee. That's what I'm going to lean in today. You know, as we're in the final week here, I loved your one word. And so anything I can do to support you on that, I'm always here in your corner.
Woohoo! Thank you. Over to you. Yeah, you gave me my word last year, momentum. So I was like, you know what? Let me build upon that. So thank you so much for inspiring me.
It's a great word. But good morning, everybody. I'm Amelia Tinetti. I'm your behaviorist. What it actually is and what it means and where it's going to lead you so that you can stop, or swap, right? Sometimes the behaviors that you got today did well to get you today, but they're not going to get you to tomorrow. So I want to take this next 30 minutes to really talk about what is going to be that overarching parameter that's going to set you up differently as you lean into 24 versus what you just leaned into 23. Meaning that if you've had the same thing on your resolution list, you know, for 20, 21, 22, 23, and haven't hit it, problem is probably you. Right? Meaning that if you knew differently, you would do differently. So what is the root behavior that's keeping you where you are stuck here to today? And we start in the DG world with your one word, right? The one overarching word, which is the measurement of every action, every thought, every task, to say, is it moving me towards that overarching word? And I will promise you, for the people here in the community that actually went through trying to get their one word, it is hard to get that word because the word has to be in your opposite side of your genius. So if you naturally show up as a doer, that means that you will never grow in doing. You'll be growing in the opposite, right? The infinity root, the opposite side, which means your word for the year has to be of the being or the feeling side. If you lead with your emotions, then that means your word needs to be in the doing side. And a quick little kind of exercise is if you saw, like you're standing out front, you saw a dog get hit by a car, is your natural instinct to call 911, try to, see if the dog is still breathing, do you immediately go to doing? Or does your heart immediately jump in and go, oh my God, that's somebody's pet? Do you feel empathy? Like, which way do you go when you're looking at a absolute fight, flight, or flight? And so if you're doing that, your word has to be in being. And if you're more emotional in the being, your word has to be doing. That's what makes it difficult. Because we'll go through this exercise right here. You'll hear your overdoers pick a doer word, which means there'll be no growth. You cannot grow area of expertise. That is not where you'll grow. It's the opposite side that we shy away from that causes growth. So I'm going to pause for a moment to see if anybody wants to share if they're working on their word or if they've had their word, or if you've done it last year, if you would share the importance, that would be phenomenal. So anybody want to chime in?
Yes, Amelia, really quick, momentum. Like when you helped me live on stage this past year to come up with my one word, because I was not able to get the growth because I was trying to choose something that was not in alignment that would actually stretch me. And the momentum I've been able to achieve once I had a central focus, my word was my central focus. I was able to put it on my mirrors. I literally wrote it on sticky notes. I put it in my car. I literally put it in my pocket as well and my wallet. So it was everywhere, and it helped me to stay focused on all of the different areas of my life. I was able to have momentum, but it's not something I would have seen or done on my own. I'm glad that you actually helped me come up with that. Thank you.
Right, because it's a check and balance. Then anytime somebody asks you to do something, or if you're trying to time block something on your calendar, the question is this creating momentum? And if it's not creating momentum, the answer is no, right? That means it's just a distraction. It's just your ego getting involved in things. And so that one word is what causes your year to unfold differently than the year that you just went through, right? So now you've picked a new word, right, for next year, and that becomes a check and balance. Every act, every thought has to be double checked with that word. And if it's not associated with that word, then the answer is no.
It's Maria. Good morning.
Good morning.
So today and tomorrow is my quiet time, right, to figure out what I'm doing, right? So now I'm trying to come up with that word. And now I had the word action, right? But you said, no, that's who you are. So we picked the word vulnerable together, right? In San Diego, or
you helped me come to that, because it's the opposite of what makes me uncomfortable, right? So now for 2024, I picked the one word that is going to pull me, which is ready, right? But for us, and you're going to think I'm crazy, I'm trying to, can I have two words first? And secondly, for the purpose of my growth with you, because it's been amazingly, like, fast forwarded because of you, I still am having trouble finding that word that makes me uncomfortable, because you said that I can't use the same word, which is vulnerable, but I kind of wanted to go with it, but I'm not supposed to. Can you help me with this? Because I got today and tomorrow to do this.
Sure. So what are you thinking the words are?
The uncomfortable ones?
Yeah. What do you think the word would be for 24?
Well, I picked ready for, the one word book, right? I chose ready because I feel like I'm ready for things, and I will be ready for things. And just the mindset of being ready and not crawling into my turtle shell with the, I don't know enough about this to move forward on that. So my word's ready.
No, that's the wrong word. I'll tell you that right now. That word's wrong. What's your second guess? What's your next guess? You said you had another word. What was another word that came to you?
No, you said ready is not the word that, I don't know.
So I heard you say, can it be more than one word? What was underneath that?
Oh, no, because the book's the one word.
Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yes.
So I don't know if I can't use vulnerable again.
Right.
Because that makes me still uncomfortable to be vulnerable, but I'm pushing through it. But that's 2023.
Yeah, vulnerability will kick your butt from now until the day everybody throws dirt on us. Vulnerability is one of those words that most people will avoid, right? And so you've done phenomenal with that word. Now I want you to think in the areas of follow through, finish, completion, right? Some type of word in and around that area. That's like, I'm just trying to give you a place to look, but I want you to be able to attach the beginning of being vulnerable and leaning in through the middle process of being able to go all the way to the finish line. Do you see what I'm saying?
I actually do. Yeah. All right.
Right? Because it's going to stop you from starting something that you already internally know you're not going to finish.
I like that.
Right? So I want you to think like putting the bow on the box, right? All the way through to the, all the details from the beginning. Because then when somebody asks you to do something, you could say to yourself, is this something that I actually want to finish? And they're like, yeah, no.
Okay. All right. I'll be on it today and tomorrow.
Yeah, and you can ping me.